Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel database slash fan site where you can get plot synopsis and character bios. So we are continuing our run through classic X-Men. I do have a playlist started all the way with number 1, and we will go all the way through 44, and then we'll resume on just regular Uncanny X-Men, um, because the backup stories end. So no point in doing classic X-Men after that. Um, Great cover here by Steve Lytle. Rest in peace. We lost him during COVID. Um, I do like these covers. I almost like them more than the original cover. Although the original cover for this is pretty badass. So I don't know. Some people may like the old cover, um, or the new cover, but of course I've been using classic X-Men because of the backup stories. Although some of the early ones did have a supplemental story, or supplemental add-ons, but then that stopped, so it's just been backup stories. So the backup story of classic X-Men 34, set during X-Men 129, focuses on the inner circle of the Hellfire Club, the antagonist of the next X-Men issues, and fleshes out the White Queen's attitudes and personality. So, and then of course this is the bigger version. So Uncanny X-Men 128 from 1979. Um, Good cover by Byrne, but there's just something about Lytle's cover, or no, George Perez. I looked at the signature here. That's George Perez's. Does look like John Byrne. So, man, how would you like to be George Perez's inker and have to draw every single line that this dude pushes through? So, and then we got the frontispiece. So we got the original story where Claremont and Byrne are plotting together, and Claremont scripts, John Byrne pencils, Terry Austin's the inker, and then the backup story is Anna Nocenti, and still we get John Bolton as artist, and then we got Banshee here, almost as if he had his powers back, but I don't think he gets them back. So, Steve Lytle, of course, does the frontispiece here. Man, rest in peace. He was good. As I said, I have a backup. I've covered everything from issue number 1 of Classic X-Men, which covered Giant Size X-Men, and then from the beginning of Chris Claremont's run. I did not do the original issues of X-Men, frankly, because they're for I don't care for them. So here we go. Moira's being held by her son slash husband. Magenta being used, which I like, and even in the eyes here. So Proteus is warping reality, and this is in Edinburgh, Scotland. And again, we get those whatever this means. I don't know what that is. So, Moira asks, "Why are you doing this? These people have done no harm. For pity's sake, let them be." And Proteus says, "They are human, Moira. They must be taught who is master." And so here come the X-Men. But of course, this woman and her baby are about to get pummeled. Cyclops uses his powers, his optic blast. Fan out, X-Men. Before we can tackle Proteus, we've got to get these people to safety. So, there's Phoenix grabbing this gentleman. The more Proteus uses his power, the stronger he gets. Soon he'll be unbeatable. And here is Nightcrawler helping this kid, and he's like, "Hang on," and the girl says, "You're blue. You notice." Nightcrawler's the name, swashbuckling's the game. Agility is my specialty. So that's a bit of a Chris Claremont trope. He doesn't do it every issue, but he does do it quite a bit with whatever's my name and whatever is my game. So Storm is trying to use her wind to get these hornets back. Proteus reality warp is transforming that storefront into real bees. They're swarming, attacking anything that moves. Those aren't bees. Those are I think those. Oh no, they don't have the thing. Most bees don't attack, so if I do not act, these people will suffer a terrible, agonizing death. So she uses her power and she blows them away. So Wolverine's helping Granny here. Watch it, Granny. I'm fighting it, but I'm starting to come unglued inside, just like I did when Proteus zapped me in this morning. When Proteus screws up reality, it drives my senses crazy, and then my claws, my strengths, none of them do any good. And suddenly he goes, the ground's rising up. Relax, Wolverine, I've got you. Um, and so Wolverine goes, it's Polaris using her magnetic powers to fly me to safety. I'm running from a scrap, and for the first time, I'm glad. So a lot of these things are exposition to let the reader just stuff. People don't think like this, but and so we get a pretty much a recap of everything. Gotta let people know how we got from point A to point B, because somebody could be picking up this comic book for the very first time. So I've covered all this. So here we are. So Moira goes, please, you're my son. Not quite, Moira. Not anymore. I have all my father's memories now, and you can see him changing his mom. You fought father, eventually left him. He didn't like that. You won't do the same to me. You're mine, body and soul. Accept that reality, Moira. You won't like the alternative. Again, magenta. The colorist really tries to use magenta when something ominous, something just to bring our attention to it. So that's another trope. You're mine, body and soul. Chris Claremont says that all the friggin' time, about every 3 issues, body and soul. So all right. So, again, with the blue, I don't understand. I never understood that. Where do they go? So Cyclops, everything around us has suddenly snapped back to normal. What does it mean? I'm not sure, Colossus. Maybe Proteus power is only good against one target at a time. Colossus, Banshee, give me a hand. We've got to make sure no one gets hurt in this panic here. And he's like, what about Moira? Saint Cyclops, Proteus has stopped zapping Edinburgh. It's because he's turning his powers against her. And he's like, Banshee, wait. I'm tired of waiting. She's the woman I love, curse ye. And you're prepared to let her die. And Cyclops says, I hope it doesn't come to that, but to stop Proteus, I'll sacrifice her life. My life, your life, every X-Men's life if I have to. You cold-blooded. And Cyclops says, look, Proteus is the deadliest menace we've ever faced. He's a killer, pure and simple. Humanity means no more to him than cows do to us. We're his food. Either the X-Men stop him, Sean, or no one does. By the time the authorities react, he'll be too powerful to beat. You're right, I know. But if Moira dies, God grant I die with her. So, and he's like, you talk as if you got a plan, boy. And he says, I do. Proteus has 2 weaknesses, metal and his constant need for fresh host bodies. We've got to make him burn his present body while denying him an opportunity to possess any new ones. And so here comes Storm. And so she uses her power here. So the X-Men are just going to try and get him to basically follow Cyclops' plan here. So Storm says, Proteus needs visual contact with his victims for his reality warps to be effective. This pea soup fog should immobilize him and check his power, and in the confusion, Wolverine or Nightcrawler might be able to get Moira away from him. And Proteus goes, nice try, Witch, but you've waited too long to strike. I have a psychic fix on you now. And you go, and, Storm, you can see here, she's kind of encased in this amber. My cloak flowing about me like a liquid, and so then she's trapped. Um, and Wolverine yells out her name, Ororo. If that hunk of crystal is as solid as it looks, she'll suffocate in seconds. But if I try to save her, I'll be leaving myself wide open to Proteus. Just thinking about it turns my guts, but I can't let her die. And so, hang on, babe. These adamantium claws of mine will cut through anything. I'll get you out, I swear. So, Ororo. Was I in time? Her skin's ice cold. Can't tell if she's breathing. And Proteus comes behind him. Shame on you, Wolverine. You should know better than to turn your back on someone who's sworn to kill. And he's hit here. My shoulder. And it was Banshee. Um, I'm doing what I have to do, Cyclops. I'm not standing by while me friends are being murdered. Not when I can help. Fool, you should have finished me with your first shot. I guarantee you won't live to try a second one. And suddenly a hole opens up and Banshee falls through it as Cyclops calls out for him. Um, Proteus is taunting us, says Cyclops, or thinks Cyclops. He thinks there is no way we can rescue Banshee. Well, he's in for a surprise as he uses his optic blasts. And so he tells Nightcrawler to get down there and get him out. Nightcrawler goes and gets him and comes back out. But then everything starts to warp around and he teleports, but now he's high. So Nightcrawler thinks, I feel torn apart inside, so high off the ground, can't see any way to break the fall. Was some kind of energy suspending me mid-air, and it was Polaris catching them. And she goes, this is getting to be a habit. Gently, Polaris. They look pretty rough shape. Banshee's out cold, but I think he'll be alright. Thank heavens. Nightcrawler, Kurt, are you? And he's like, alive, but not well. Rest easy, pal. You've earned it. Ororo, you should not be on your feet. So long as I am able to, Peter, I will. Thanks, Storm. Almost right off the bat, we're down 2 X-Men, Scotty, and Proteus seems as strong as ever. No one said this would be easy, Havoc, says Storm. And no one guaranteed would win either, little brother, but we have to try. I sent Phoenix ahead. Let's get after her. And so Proteus is running away, but he's hit with like a psychic blast here. And Phoenix comes out and says, I believe you owe me a rematch for that ambush on Muir Island, Proteus. I'm here to collect with interest, so. Jean, what are you doing? Says Moira as the two of them kind of begin a fight. And Moira says, he's down, but he's not giving up. And we got Wolverine here. And I assume it's Wolverine because of the boots here. Way to go, Jeannie. In a rough house, babe, you're my kind of girl. Uh-oh, my guts are churning. Proteus must be fighting back. And suddenly, you can see Jean's insides. This is actually kind of cool. Again, with a magenta here. And Wolverine comes out. Leave her alone. I love that lady, bub. Thought he wanted Mariko. I'll see you dead before I let you hurt her again. And Wolverine slashes at Proteus where he screams out in agony. Wonderful panel there. Absolutely wonderful. You can see Proteus kind of churning here. And Cyclops goes, that scream, Jean's down, hurt. No, I can't think about her now. I don't dare or I'll crack wide open. I have to focus on the job at hand, nothing else. Wolverine, get Moira away from here. Now, mister. Man, you weren't kidding about us being expendable, were you? Jean's that bad, psych, and you ain't even batting an eyelash. So, and here's Havoc saying, short stuff, you are off base about my brother. It's pathetic, but this isn't time for a debate. And so the two of them, you can see, hit him, Havoc with his power and Cyclops with his. Hit him with everything you've got. And Cyclops says, incredible. Proteus survived Wolverine's attack. Now he's standing up to the combined powers of my optic beams and Alex's cosmic energy bolts. And Havoc wonders what it'll take to stop this guy. And Wolverine's climbing up with Moira. Says, sounds like Psyche and his brother ain't pulling their punches. Sure wish I was there to give him a hand. And Moira says, it's not over yet, Wolverine. I've hoped and prayed there would be another way, but I know now that it won't be over until my boy is dead. And then suddenly Proteus kind of disassembles himself and they hit each other with their own powers. Cyclops thinks that, oh, sorry, ow, that hurts. Good thing my body is able to metabolize most of the power of Alex's bolts as he is able to absorb mine, or we both be wasted now. Proteus is going after Moira. Good luck, Wolverine. You're going to need it. And so as Proteus goes up, he goes, curse those mutants. I underestimated their power, and still this body won't last much longer, and without a physical host, I'll quickly discorporate, cease to exist, he says. But I've no need to worry. The ideal replacement is close at hand. And Moira says, what's wrong? Proteus is doing something screwy to gravity. He's coming like a flaming rocket. I can barely move. You have something that belongs to me, little man. I want it back. And Wolverine falls, and she calls out, Wolverine. Everybody calls him little man. By the way, Wolverine is supposed to be short in stature, and just people kind of forget it. Again, with the magenta here. Cyclops, what can we do? Even Wolverine can't survive that big a fall unless, yes, he can. He survives worse. So Cyclops uses his optic blast in a kind of a pulsating and gets him down. That stunt would have killed a normal person, but I figured Wolverine's adamantium skeleton could survive the hard knocks. I'm glad I was right. Colossus, get to the castle. You know what to do, Peter. Good luck. I will not fail, Cyclops, says Colossus. Oh man, I'm going to be black and blue forever, says Wolverine. And so, it's my turn now, is it? And after me, who's next? Death after endless death without thought or care or mercy till there's no one left alive on Earth save you? If that's what the future holds, perhaps you should have drowned me at birth. And Moira like an unwanted pet. Nobody drowns an unwanted pet. What the hell, Claremont? And, well, unless you're psychotic, I suppose. Oh, I know. You love me. You tried to save me. Stupid cow, I never wanted your salvation. Even as a child, I knew I had the power. I could hardly wait for my first chance to use it. An act of hatred and violence created me, Mother, shaped me into what I am today. Out of that creation will come humanity's destruction, of course your own. And here comes Colossus. He tosses him aside and he says, you will destroy no one, monster. And Proteus is like, what? So, throwing him there by the white wolf. So the body breaks. So that is Proteus' true form. I must take care. Cyclops said that in this state, Proteus will both be the most vulnerable and the most dangerous. He will be desperate to steal another host body. I must not let him. So, you can see here the air around Colossus turns into fire. He's trying to burn Colossus. He says, I hear you, Butcher, inside my mind laughing. You enjoy causing pain, death. Before I met you, I never understood evil. You are evil, Proteus. But you have made a fatal mistake. You toyed with me when you should have slain me, allowing me time to change from Peter Rasputin to Colossus. That will be your last mistake. And he punches him. Of course, he's made out of metal. And kind of shorting him out. It says here the end is instantaneous, but it isn't, because Proteus is actually still around in the new whatever current thing is happening with the X-Men, which I am not reading. So, good Lord, says Cyclops, metal in any form is anathema to Proteus. That is why I was counting on Colossus to finish the job. The rest of us started. It looks like he's done just that, but at what cost? And Wolverine's like, Peter, don't be dead, big fella. I got a few enough sparring partners as it is. Jean, are you strong enough to fly up there? I'll give it a try, Scott. And so she takes everybody. And I love how when Havoc is drawn, his thing is on the side. It doesn't matter which way you draw Havoc, the thing is always centered to you. So, Peter, Moira, they look okay. Jean, scan the air, any sign of Proteus. Only faint residual traces, Scott. And Colossus says, you need not worry, Cyclops. Proteus is no foe. My friend, I know Proteus was evil, that we, all of us, did what we had to, yet I mourn. Moira, I have no words to comfort you. Only my strength. Do not hold back your tears, small one. I will not rust. And so Wolverine says, I'm proud of you, Peter. I couldn't have aced that sucker better myself. And he says, thank you, Wolverine, I think. But hush now. Let Moira grieve in peace. And Moira's crying here. She says, I love them both, Cyclops, John and my son, but now they're gone. Part of me is glad, and the rest is numb. Perhaps a merciful God would pardon me for my part in this tragedy, but I'll not forgive myself. Moira, are you well, darling? Sean, and you can see them here kind of kissing. Um, and so we end our story here. There's still a backup, and then we start on the Dark Phoenix saga. And so we get to our backup here, double negative. Quite decorative, the Hellfire Club has its eccentricities when it comes to style. The dress code that can symbolize a power and wealth that bars no extravagance. But on this awkward, brainless troll up. And so we got Mastermind here. And this, I believe, is Tessa. Such possibilities are reduced to nothing. She's a mere trinket, an objection in a cheap, degrading package, he says. So, how vulnerable and exposed she is. And the way she allows me to openly stare at her is it's so base it embarrasses me, he says. So, will there be anything else, Mr. Wingard? Sir? Sir? He just stares at her. And so, what am I doing here in this stupid place in this outfit? My every instinct tells me it's wrong. Lord, that man is so horrible. So it is not Tessa, maybe. So how he stares, how he stares, how he strips me, humiliates me. Oh, Miss Frost, don't you just hate wearing these outfits? She says, I hate being gaped at. I I hate being gaped at. The Black King is so rude. Don't you just hate this job, this place? I mean, the pay is obscene, but is it worth it? Isn't it also sexist? I mean, shouldn't we protest on principle? It's our skills as servants that should count, not how we look. I mean, am I right? And it's not Tessa. Shouldn't we stick together as women and refuse to dress like this? And the White Queen, what are you babbling about? She says, who do you take me for? Just another servant girl? I am the White Queen. Yes, you wear that outfit and men look at you and that cheapens you. Love the way the eyes look. Of course, Emma Frost has changed quite drastically from these days, but when I wear them, it cheapens them. Let me explain a few things about sexism, girl. It's all in what you use it for, she says. The Hellfire Club reeks of desire and ambition for success and world domination. But it's really about personal domination. My clothes are my battle armor. I dress to go to war. My weapons and body are weapons on par with a man's fist. And so you can see that girl looking at her. I'm going to battle now, she says. As with the samurai, one look tells me who the superior fighter is. Sorry. You may come watch as you serve us drinks, but you will not see much. As with the samurai, one look tells you who the superior. The best swords stay with their scabbards. So the White Queen here, you can see her putting on her cape, and the girl is still kind of covering her up. So there's no such thing as sexism unless you give them that power. No one dares look at the White Queen in that way. I fight my battles without getting a speck of dirt on my gloves, not a hair out of place. And the girl, this, and by the way, John Bolton draws beautiful women. I base a lot of how I draw women, is particularly the nose. Let me go back here. You see how he just does a mark. There's no sideways is one thing, but he just basically does marks on the nose, and I try to imitate that. So So the girl goes, I just don't understand why fight at all. Who would want that kind of power? You're horrible. You're all horrible here. Idiot. Who do you think? Why do you think they call this the Hellfire Club? She says. So her entrance is daunting, her cape billowing as if it were a living extension of her foreboding sweep of the White King's arrogant power. Jason Wingard sits up. So, and there's a game of chess here. A game? Quite, she says. So, um, they kind of just stare at each other. So we got the Black King and the White Queen. I thought Sebastian was the Black King. So maybe what is Mastermind? I don't remember. I thought they said the Black King, but I thought Shaw was the Black King. So anyway, the knights attacking, and so it's basically a real fun chess. I don't play chess, but this looks fun. So and so look at them. They don't even move the pieces. This place is so creepy. Everything is so cryptic. I feel as if I'm drowning. Look at her playing her power games. She thinks she's risen above something. She feels so superior to me, yet she's a slave to games. Good game, a draw for now. And so we end our backup story here. So I love this is why I wanted to do Classic X-Men. And of course, Classic X-Men had a back cover. So this is the back cover from John Bolton here. But I want to show you a couple more things here. So this is when you get, if you buy the Epic collection, you get quite a few extras that are in there. And given that we have covered all these stories and we'll be heading into the Dark Phoenix saga, I wanted to show you a couple of things. So this is the Comic Reader 167, and John Byrne dressed everyone in the original costume. So we got Storm, Wolverine, Banshee, Colossus, and Nightcrawler, and I think that looks pretty flippin' cool. Of course, we got some original art here by Byrne and Terry Austin. Again, some more original art in the original cover. More original art here. So, and of course, Frank Miller was the cover artist of this. And then, of course, during the Proteus here with Byrne. So, anyway, thought I would show you a couple of those awesome things. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Classic X-Men 34 by Chris Claremont, John Byrne, and Nocenti, and John Bolton. Like and subscribe. I do thank you for listening. Goodbye.